Mr. President, I'm sorry that I'm here at this hour of the day on Monday, the beginning of what we hope to be the last week of this congressional session, as we recess for about a week before returning for the new session of the United States Congress. Mr. President, I'm here this evening to express my hope that things that have not happened, that have created challenges for farmers and ranchers across Kansas and around the country, are addressed in legislation pending before the United States Senate and the House of Representatives. We've made mistakes, errors, we've failed in a couple of significant ways this congressional session in regard to the appropriations process and the consequences that the failure to pass a farm bill has upon farmers across my state and around the country. First of all, I'm saddened that we have not completed the appropriations process, the 12 appropriation bills that should have marched across this Senate floor and across the House and already be sent to the President. The Senate Appropriations Committee, of which I'm a senior member of, we've passed all but one of those bills and reported them to the Senate floor with no further action. As a result of that, one of the items that has not occurred is that there is no appropriation bill dealing with agriculture that is ready for the President's signature or should have been signed by September 30th earlier this year. Secondly, the Agriculture Committee, the Senate Committee on Agriculture, has not provided us with a renewed, improved farm bill. We are operating under an extension, and I'd expect before the end of the week we will extend the farm bill one more time. As a result, we are combining the effort to meet the needs of farmers and ranchers in this process by which we will pass a continuing resolution funding the federal government presumably to March, and included in that continuing resolution is what we call disaster assistance. The disasters that occurred across the country, Helene, Milton, the damage that was done by tropical storms in Florida, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Tennessee, the storm damage many places across the country is to be addressed this week in addition to the continuing resolution that funds the federal government. I support that. There are significant challenges to people that have occurred through no fault of their own. One of those challenges is to farmers and ranchers who, through no fault of their own, have no farm bill, therefore no safety net, and who have no opportunity to address the needs as they go to their bankers, their financial bankers, to plan for the new year. No farm bill in place to provide a safety net, and without passage of disaster assistance, no assistance to help them get through the planting season for agriculture commodities across the country. So before the end of this week, we need to do serious and significant work. And the point I want to make tonight is that without the inclusion of assistance to farmers and ranchers in the continuing resolution, I will not vote for the continuing resolution. I despise voting for them regardless, all the time I have, because I so oppose government shutdowns. But in the absence of solving the challenges that farmers and ranchers meet through disaster assistance, through financial assistance to those farmers, the CR will not attain my vote. So the negotiations are ongoing as I understand it. They were to have been completed perhaps a long time ago, but they were certainly to have been completed last night and filed. Has not happened yet, and the deadline is December the 20th before there's a government shutdown. The circumstances that we face is and let me repeat this so I can make it perhaps clearer. Without a farm bill, there's no safety net. The safety net that was present under the old farm bill, even if extended, does not meet today's current challenges that farmers face. The cost of inputs, fuel, fertilizer, seed, labor, land values, interest rates in particular, have skyrocketed, and the U.S. Department of Agriculture has determined that on-the-farm income will be down more than 43% over the time what it was when we passed the last farm bill, now 6 years ago. No farm bill to meet the needs, no farm policy to meet the needs of the challenges that ranchers and farmers have. And then, unless we provide the disaster assistance, the natural disaster assistance that is so needed. And again, I mentioned states that have had hurricanes. I will highlight that in the state of Kansas, we've been in a drought for the last 4 or 5 years. This is the most severe year yet. 79% of Kansas agriculture experienced drought across our state, most of it in severe fashion. This past year, Kansas wheat farmers experienced their smallest crop since 1961, largely due to lack of moisture. So you add these things together, terribly high input costs, low commodity prices, and then if you have no commodity to sell because you couldn't grow anything. One of my staffers told me, I said, you should be home for harvest earlier this year. He says, Jerry, we plant wheat, we don't harvest wheat. And that's exactly what happened across the state this year, and unfortunately for past years. Some will say we have crop insurance to deal with this issue. Crop insurance is hugely important to producers around the country. But it doesn't work when there are multiple year disasters, because the average for which you can receive compensation for is based on previous years. So we've never figured out, RMA, the Department of Agriculture, has never figured out a crop insurance product that meets the needs of farmers who year after year after year have less production. The point I want to make is this is a real circumstance that has huge consequences, not only on the farmers of Kansas and other states across the country, but upon the need to meet our hunger needs around the world and the need to meet the nutrition and safety and well-being of Americans across the country. Mr. President, again, I ask my colleagues to make certain that the continuing resolution include assistance to agricultural producers and it be done in a way that actually meets their needs. And then let's make certain that we get a farm bill done. Again, already late, but can we get it done early in 2025? Mr. President, I yield the floor.